All right, so Theo Vaughn had Tony Hinchcliffe on his podcast the other day, and Theo brought up the Brendan Schaub and Bobby Lee drama, and it sounds like they've both been following it pretty closely. I know Theo said when this was going down, he didn't talk that much to Brendan about it, but it sounds like he's been watching videos on it. And Tony Hinchcliffe as well, he talks about how he's been obsessed with it. He's been following everything that's going on, and I'm sure most comedians have been following it, and they find it entertaining. Like, whenever it gets brought up on a podcast, it seems like everyone knows what's going on, everyone knows what they're talking about, but I don't think they want to get into it too much because they don't want to pick a side and get dragged into it. So let's see what Tony and Theo have to say about it.
We would have ability to email everybody, especially since he's doing all that browser hunting or whatever on Brendan Shaw's fucking, since he's stalking Brendan on his own, whatever. That whole debacle was, that's one of the fun, it's almost like a sketch show, you know, when you go watch that, it's like, they had like screen grab, like Brendan doesn't own a computer, which is the funniest part of all of it, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like, he's getting this research to have like screen grabs on his phone. The whole thing was just so ridiculous.
Yeah, it's funny because I don't think Brendan or Bobby really use a computer at all. I don't think they're very tech savvy. Kalila, on the other hand, I think she kind of knows what she's doing. But with Brendan, he just has a team that does all the tech stuff for him, and he probably doesn't look into it himself at all because he doesn't know what the hell he's looking at. And I'm sure his team is just Mark or BGL, and I don't know if that guy is the most trustworthy person. So it'd be smart if Brendan actually did some research himself, because it sounded like he got the information that Bobby and Kalila were part of the subreddit, and then he just automatically thinks it's true and calls them and threatens Bobby's career. So that's how we get to this position. And it might be true. I still think it's possible that Kalila was part of it, but you need better evidence than, I don't even know if Brendan ever showed any evidence. He claimed he had 300 pages or something, but I don't think anybody saw that.
I couldn't get enough of it. That was my like thing. I switched from like police interrogation videos to like following the Schaub and Bobby Lee thing for a while. It's on my YouTube algorithms just filled with Bobby Lee, Brendan Schaub, Kalila, like
I know.
Weird. Because I can't.
I like how Tony says he switched from police interrogation videos to all the Brendan Schaub drama, because Brendan Schaub on the Tiger Belly podcast, that was basically a police interrogation video. But it's hilarious that all these comedians have been following this drama. You know, they don't talk about it too much on the podcast, you know, once in a while like this. But I guarantee behind the scenes, they're all talking about it. Like, if Tony Hinchcliffe has been watching all this stuff religiously, I'm sure him and his friends have been talking about it. I'm sure whenever he has a guest on, he talks about it with them. But like I said in the beginning, and like they talk about coming up here, they don't want to get into it too much because they don't want to get roped into the drama and just become like a drama podcast or something. So that's why I think these comedians don't talk about it too much on their podcast, and they try not to pick sides. The only person that seems like isn't really afraid of that is Andrew Schultz. Like, when Brendan was doing a podcast trying to promote his comedy special, Andrew had him on, and he just asked him about the whole truck walk, which I don't think anybody else really did. And also recently, he defended Brendan a few times and even called out Kalila and said it seems like she might have been part of the subreddit.
There's sometimes I'm on one thing, and then sometimes I'm like, maybe they did do that. Like, it like switches quickly. You can see both sides of the argument. I'm like, well, I mean, Brendan, you know, hate happens to people. People are jealous. You know, you're a fighter turned comedian, and then all of a sudden I saw one clip where Kalila's like, yeah, I'm a lot better at the internet than people think, and I'll destroy someone. It's like from an episode years earlier, and like I'm like, whoa, this is all wild, because people have made some serious breakdown videos of that stuff.
I'm amazed at how like there's such a world now with podcasting. There's also like this soap opera undercurrent of all of it, you know?
I like how Theo called it a soap opera, because when Brendan was on Andrew Schultz's podcast, that's how he described it as well, except he called it a soap show. And he said people online are trying to turn it into that, but Brendan's the one that turned it into that. The way he went about this was like the worst way possible. It was the most drama-filled way possible. So you'd think he wanted it to turn into a soap show.
Yeah, they said that you were suing.
No, these narratives online, you know, it's like a fucking soap show. They want this drama. There's no drama. Like, Bobby Lee is one of my close friends. Me and Bobby talk all.
I've played this clip so many times in my videos, but I feel like it just keeps getting better. I love the end of that where he's like, me and Bobby talk all the time. We're good friends. Who is buying that dude? Like, around this time is when he is threatening Bobby's career. So he turns it into all this drama by like just trying to avoid everything, lying about things, not addressing it. It just causes everything to build up, and then it eventually just explodes in his face. And that's exactly what happened. Like, right after Annie and Kalila talked about the truck walk and everything, he could have just came out and was like, listen, that was a long time ago. I was going through problems. I should not have done that. I was a dick for doing that. I apologize to Bobby. I apologize to my wife. And I know that would have been hard for Brendan to do, and he would have gotten a lot of shit for it, but it would have just gotten it all out of the way, and he could have moved on. But instead, he did everything the shadiest way possible, and he threatened Bobby's career behind the scenes, and then he's acting like he's good friends with him and acting like nothing's wrong, when clearly there's something wrong. Everybody knew that. And there are also rumors of him going to Joe. I don't know if that was true at all, but it's just so funny how he handled it, and I like the way he handled it because it just caused all this drama and made things a lot more entertaining.
I don't play it. You would think Kill Tony would be a big poker, and like, I get it, people like drama, but I don't want. I've always looked at it like, if you play that game, those are the types of fans you're gonna get. You want to be drama, you want to do gossip, you want to do this, you're gonna end up, then you're not even in the comedy world anymore. All of a sudden you're in the drama world. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I look at some of the people with successful YouTube shows and podcasts that aren't stand-up comedians, and I see them doing that a
like
lot.
Ethan Klein show does that a lot.
Yeah.
I noticed they get a lot more like, but he does a great show.
Yeah.
And Ethan's we've had some great conversations, man. He's an extremely deep guy. But yeah, I think that's just their world. I guess it's also, what is your world?
So I'm not an Ethan Klein fan. I'm sure everyone's aware of that if you watch this channel, but I will admit that is the one thing Ethan Klein is extremely good at: getting involved in drama, starting drama, inserting himself into drama. I mean, he actually played a big part in all the Brendan Schaub and Bobby Lee drama. If it weren't for him, we might not have known that Brendan was trying to blackmail Bobby behind the scenes. So I will give him credit for that. And I'm sure when Tony was just talking about getting involved in drama and having your channel turn into a drama channel, I'm sure he was thinking about Ethan as well. Obviously, Theo's the one that brought it up. I'm sure they're both thinking of Ethan because that's the most classic example. But also, I think that's a really extreme example because that's all Ethan does, is try to get involved in drama. I mean, you could talk about drama and discuss it and not really get involved in it, like Andrew Schultz. I mean, he talked a lot about the truck walk to Brendan, and then also he gave his opinion on all the Kalila stuff. So I think there is a good middle ground, and just because you're a big comedian talking about some drama, it doesn't mean you're going to turn into a drama channel. So I think Theo and Tony seeing what Ethan's channel has turned into makes them worried when they're talking about drama, but I don't think Tony should be worried about that. There's a bigger problem here. Once he gets done transitioning, he's going to look a lot like Hila, so I wouldn't be surprised if Ethan makes a move on him. He better watch out.
Right.
And what do you like? Like, some people, they like that.
Right.
It's like, I guess I don't know if I care about it that much, you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
But it's definitely, it's crazy how there's just such a microcosm of, like, there's like a couple hundred channels that put out clips that I'll see that are of me from different shows and stuff. And I'm like, there's a whole little ecosystem out here going on of channels and stuff. And it's like, you want to fight or whatever. You're just like, what are you going to, it's like, there's just so much podcasting. It's really its own. I mean, it's a huge world now.
Yeah.
With layers and like, there's like people making like reviewing reviewing clips and things that have happened. It's gotten pretty deep, man.
Oh yeah, there's people reviewing those people's
Yeah.
review shows and stealing their ideas and doing rip-offs of their shows, and like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like they're reviewing the review.
Yeah, there's like a sports center for podcasts
Yep.
almost now, where
Yep.
they're like looking at highlights and replaying things and like.
I'm surprised they didn't bring up the fact that obviously people are going to be reacting to this. This is some pretty deep shit here. This is like me reacting to them, where they're reacting to a channel like mine or mine, where we react to them, where they react to Brendan Schaub and Bobby Lee. I think they broke the fourth wall here. So that's about it for this video. Tony, thanks for watching, and then make sure you hit the like button, leave me a comment, let me know what you think about all this, then hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you at the next video.